Welcome to another video on the channel. In today's video, I'll tell you what happens if you use a meow as an attempt to communicate with your kitty. Before we continue, I want to ask you to subscribe to the channel because here you have access to all the information about the feline world. Also, hit the notification bell so you'll always be notified when I release a new video, alright? Now let's get into the content. I'm sure that all of you watching this video, if there was a way for you to communicate perfectly with your kitty, you would use it, right? And meowing is one of the most used forms of communication by cats. So, some humans might wonder, if I meow at my cat, will they understand? Is it the most effective way to communicate that I can use? That's what I'm going to talk about in this video, okay? I'll discuss meowing, other types of vocalizations you can use to communicate with your cat, and I'll also share some fun facts about meowing toward the end. So, it's a really interesting and fun video. Make sure to watch until the end to learn everything on this topic, okay? First, I want to talk about why your cat meows when they see you. Cats have more than 100 types of vocalizations. They are one of the animals with the most variations in their vocalizations, especially among mammals in general. So, they are extremely capable of communicating via vocal sounds. However, cats don't usually communicate much with each other through vocalization. The most common way they communicate is through body language, like the movement of the tail, ears, whiskers, body posture. All of this is the main way cats communicate. They don't use meowing to communicate with each other. They do use vocalizations, though, like for example, caterwauling, a vocalization used during mating season. That loud sound you hear at 3 a.m. from a female cat, that's caterwauling. So, there are different vocalizations for different purposes. But the meow is specific to cat and human communication. Another vocal communication cats use with each other, though not meowing, is the vocalization that kittens use to communicate with their mother and siblings. The period in a cat's life when they vocalize the most to communicate with each other is during infancy, when they are still little kittens. They haven't even opened their eyes yet, but they communicate with their mother through those little meows and purring. Cats only use vocalization in very specific moments, but the main way they communicate is through body language. Now, the cat has developed meowing specifically to communicate with humans. It's a magnificent evolutionary behavior. They've learned that the frequency of the meows they use, obviously, they don't realize this consciously, allows them to manipulate us. And they manage to do that because the frequency of their meow triggers the same part of our brain that responds to a baby's cry. It activates our sense of urgency, making us eager to respond as if something bad will happen if we don't act immediately, much like when a baby cries. So, when your cat meows at you, it's an act of communication. But don't always think your cat is asking for something. While they do meow when they want something, they also meow to tell you they missed you, that they love you, that they want to be close to you. When you come home after a day at work and your cat meows at you, they're saying all of this. Sure, they might also be asking for something, maybe they're hungry or out of food, but don't see your cat's meow as just a request. It's also them expressing something positive to you. Second, I want to talk about whether they like it when you use baby talk to communicate with them, because that's how most cat owners talk to their cats, right? Using that high-pitched, cute baby voice. Is that the best way to talk to your cat? Science says yes. Studies have shown that cats respond much better to baby talk than to a normal voice. Cats whose owners used baby talk turned their ears, looked at the owner, and paid more attention. When spoken to in a regular voice, they were less likely to react. The reason for this is that baby talk has a higher pitch, and cats hear higher frequencies better. So, baby talk is the voice they hear best and understand best. It's the best way to communicate with your kitty, no need to feel embarrassed. You now have scientific proof that you should talk to them like that. Next, let's talk about other sounds you can make to get your cat's attention. If you want to call your cat's attention without using baby talk, what vocalization can you use? There are two very common sounds that you can try. The most well-known is the pissed sound. Any sound with a high frequency like that will catch your cat's attention because, as I mentioned earlier, cats are tuned to hear high-pitched sounds. That's why cats can hear rats communicating, even though we humans can't hear those sounds. So, making the pissed sound can get your cat's attention, but be careful, some cats might not like it, because it sounds too much like the hissing noise they make when they're upset or angry. Another sound you can make is a clicking sound with your tongue and lips, like this, make sound. This can also grab your cat's attention, but again, it may remind them of hissing, which could cause a negative reaction. So, I recommend sticking with baby talk instead of these sounds. Now, what happens if you meow at your cat? Do they understand? The answer is no, they won't understand what you're trying to say. Unfortunately, it's not possible to communicate with them perfectly. Those apps that claim to translate your voice into meows or decode what your cat is saying. They're just gimmicks, nothing more. However, when you meow at your cat, they do understand that you're trying to communicate with them. They recognize your voice and the interaction itself brings them comfort, security, and happiness. It makes them feel loved. So, while they don't understand the content of what you're saying, it's still a powerful way to bond. You should use verbal communication in your interactions with your cats, whether it's baby talk, your normal voice, or meowing. Over time, with experience, you and your cat can develop your own personal communication. You'll start to understand each other better. You'll learn to read your cat's meows, the tone and type, and your cat will also understand your emotions better. They'll know when you're sad, happy, tired, or playful, and adapt their behavior accordingly. If you want to meow at your cat, go ahead and do it. It can be one of the best ways to communicate with them because it's at the perfect frequency for their ears. It will make them feel comforted and loved. If your cat meows back, they aren't necessarily trying to communicate back, but they're interacting with you, which is always positive. Feel privileged if your cat meows when they see you because cats don't meow at just anyone, they only meow at their favorite human or maybe their second favorite if you live with multiple people. The fact that your cat meows at you shows that your bond is strong. Next, let's talk about whether all cats meow. Yes, all cats meow, but in different ways. Every cat has their own unique meow. Some cats meow more than others depending on their personality, genetics, and environment. Cats that feel safe and comfortable tend to vocalize more. Oriental breeds, such as the Siamese, are especially known for being talkative. Now, about why it's hard to sleep when a cat is meowing, it's not just the noise. The sound of a cat's meow triggers the same response in our brains as a baby's cry, which makes it hard to ignore. Finally, let's address the question of whether cats can ever learn to talk like humans. The answer is no, due to anatomical and neurological reasons. They simply don't have the capacity to speak like us. That's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Before I wrap up, I want to remind you about my pet product store, where you can find anything your kitty needs. The link is in the description below. By shopping there, you help support my work here on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.